Houthi drone attack on the Joint Forces sites in Adala kills 4 soldiers. War and blockade cast shadow on Eid joy in Tai's governorate. Displaced families in Ma'rib received Eid amid their humanitarian situation. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Roshan Fuad. Pilgrims in Mecca began the first day of Tashriq by stoning the 3 Jamarats in Mina's shrine. The first of the 3 days of Tashriq comes on the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, which ends with sunset of the 13th day of Dhul Hijjah month. Today, the pilgrims performed the prayers of the first day at Al Khaif Mosque in Mina. In Adala Governorate, 4 soldiers were killed in Houthi bombing by a drone which targeted positions of the joint forces in the city. Military sources stated that 4 members of the joint forces were killed in an attack by Houthi drones on the Fakhr front. Military sources confirmed the death of 1 soldier today by a Houthi sniper bullet. The war and the Houthi siege imposed on Taiz city have cast a shadow on the joy of Eid holidays. The residents find it hard to visit relatives during Eid as most of the roads are closed. More on this story is in the following report.
During the war, people try to cope with reality and ease the pain by creating moments of happiness. However, those moments are also remind them of how difficult and cruel life can be. When the call to prayer begins in the morning of Eid, people in the city go to the mosque and the public places. They bring their children with them. They pray and listen to a religious ceremony to celebrate the special day of Eid.
بالنسبة لمدينة تعز العام التاسع على التوالي تعاني من الحصر والقصف والانتهاكات المستمرة.
For 9th year in a row, Taiz has suffered from siege and continuous violation against civilians by the Houthi militia, and the international community turns a blind eye to what is happening. Nevertheless, people try to humbly celebrate the holiday, hoping that the war will stop.
طبعا احنا الاجواء العيد يعني ما نقوم بزيارة الأهل والأقارب.
On Eid, we visit relatives and give them simple gifts, despite our poor financial capabilities. Most of us have destroyed houses, and I hope things will get better soon.
After the Eid prayer, people start to visit the cemeteries. They go to the Martyrs Cemetery, which has the most visitors. People stand by the tombstones, read Quran and pray for the dead. Afterwards, adults go to visit their relatives to greet them.
The Yemeni people are used to visit cemeteries after Eid prayer to read Quran and to pray for the dead, after which we go to visit relatives.
Kids in the neighborhood look for a playground in different places. In this neighborhood, some entertaining games were set up for kids because there aren't any public parks nearby and families cannot go to the private parks due to the high cost of tickets.
نلقى نحن المواطنون بزيارة هذه الحدائق الافتراضية التي
We come to these free parks that the parents provided to make children happy, as the lack of salaries doesn't help us to go to the parks due to the high prices of tickets.
In Taiz, some of the usual ways of celebrating Eid are noticeable, while others are struggling to remain as a result of the difficult situation. Some Eid traditions are missing because of the war and the Houthi blockade.
The British Maritime Trade Operations Authority reported that 2 boats carrying weapons approached the ship near the Red Sea port of Salif. The authority added that the ship increased speed and maneuvered to avoid the 2 small boats, noting that no fire was fired. The statement confirmed that the ship and its crew are safe. A massive fire broke out at the headquarters of the Russian consulate in Aden, southern Yemen. Eyewitnesses stated that the fire broke out in the upper part of the Russian consulate headquarters in Khormakser district, causing serious damage. It was reported that flames were seen rising to distant places from the consulate headquarters, spreading to one of the neighboring houses. The UK embassy to Yemen said that Yemen has become a popular market for many types of drugs. The statement was published on the official page of the embassy on Twitter on the occasion of the International Day Against Drug Trafficking, which falls on June 26 of each year. The embassy noted that smuggling of such goods fuels conflict and organized crime, as well as destabilizing societies. Displaced families in Marib receive Eid amid the grave humanitarian situation. Hiking prices has also added to their problems as they could not secure basic needs of Eid. This report has more details.
Countless families in Marib are unable to prepare for Eid al-Adha feast as the ongoing fighting forces them to flee their homes. Yemeni families used to celebrate Eid al-Adha, the second largest religious festival for Muslims, by adorning themselves in new clothes and sacrificing livestock.
We are unable to buy clothes for our children this Eid due to the obscene rise in prices. Our children are celebrating in the same clothes they wore last Eid. In addition, the heat is unbearable in the absence of electricity.
However, many this year are suffering as a result of displacement, and no preparations could be made for Eid al-Adha as some families endure the lack of basic services and the insane costs after abandoning their homes.
This year is unlike any previous year. I have 13 kids, and it's a struggle to clothe all of them. I couldn't secure cattle for my family. I had to settle for poultry, but even chicken is expensive. Prices used to be cheaper in past years. Nowadays, a single garment costs 15,000 riyal, and I only have 13,000.
According to the UN, the violence has driven 4.5 million Yemenis, or 14% of the population, to evacuate their homes. Approximately 66% of the displaced reside in unsafe areas with significant food shortages and the lack of essential amenities, such as electricity and running water.
بن ثياب نشطط يعني ثياب نروح عن القرى نحوس وهذا نروح بثياب ونصلحها مآوي وكراتين من الشوارع. والله إن احنا نكره المطر، يخسع لنا البطانيات، يخسع الفراش، يخسع الجماش، نسمر برادة، خاسعين احنا وجهالنا.
فالمأوى الانتقالي هذا الكنتيرة جعلتهم يعيشوا في استقرار للمستفيدين من ناحية سواء من ناحية الأمطار أو لا من ناحية العواصف والرياح والرملية، بما أنه عندنا هنا في مارب الرياح بتكون شديدة.
Coming next. Yemen's proud honey industry faces increasing challenges due to the conflict.
Beekeeping has been an age-old practice in Yemen, dating back to the 2nd millennium BC. Yemeni honey is renowned for its delicious flavor, with one of the finest varieties coming from bees that feed on the sidra tree.
عسل الستر ممتاز لأنه في يعني فوائد، في يعني علاء يعني كثير أكثر من العسل اللي حق المراعي ولا هاي. هذا الستر يعني أقدر تصدره إلى البرع يعني ومنه فائدة أكثر.
From 2022, WFP has supported 5,180 beekeepers in Yemen with training and cash to increase resilience among urban and rural households.
جزاهم الله خير، أعطانا النحل جمعية ودالحين نشتغل يعني أكثر دخل على النحل. ودي الصباح إلى عنده نلبس الثوب ونجي يعني ونعطي حقه الماء وسكر، ونشوف شيء مرض فيه وش أي حاجة نشوفها فيه، يعني إن تقول تعالي تو من قدامنا ما يهتلك عليه كله. وبعد شهر نجنيه نبيع العسل.
Yemen's beekeepers produce over 1,500 tons of honey each year, which provides income for 100,000 people. This honey is considered to be some of the best in the world and is vital to the local economy of this war-torn nation.
Welcome back. Yemen's honey production has been prosperous over years. Yet nowadays, and due to the conflict, this industry is being faced with increasing challenges. The following report has more details.
Yemeni honey has a long history, dating back to the 10th century BCE and receiving international acclaim for its high quality. Predictably, this amber nectar may be found in almost every Yemeni home. It serves to sweeten many social gatherings and is valued not just for its nutritional and social values, but also for its medicinal properties. Yemeni cedar honey, one of the most costly honeys, is derived from the wild cedar tree, which thrives in Yemen's harsh deserts. The nectar of this tree is substantially richer and sweeter than others, which shows when feeding bees produce their honey. However, Yemeni honey production confronts significant hurdles. Aside from the devastation caused by the country's long-running conflict, honey producers must also contend with a volatile climate. During the dry season, pastures are reduced and beekeepers must purchase pollen grains, which are the bees' primary source of nutrition. When beekeepers are unable to cover the hefty shipping costs for these grains, colonies often get abandoned. Of course, the conflict has had a significant impact on both supply and demand, with explosions decimating many of Yemen's beehives, especially at the start of the conflict in 2015. Many of the challenges beekeepers experience, such as unsafe roadways, are tied to the conflict, making transportation of honey, beehives, and pollen difficult. There are also added challenges brought on by inadequate rainfall, pests such as bee flies, bee eaters, and wasps, as well as the weakened condition of the cedar trees. Despite these shortcomings, the honey value chain is critical to Yemen's food and nutrition security, and it employs an estimated 100,000 beekeepers. There is also significant room for growth. Under the Yemen Food Security Response and Resilience Project, FAO and the World Bank are encouraging farmers to try beekeeping as an alternate source of income. Thanks to international initiatives, smallholder beekeepers are increasingly able to face some of the challenges, maintain the renowned Yemeni honey, and possibly even look forward to sweeter times in the future.
Local residents in the city of Aden complained the deterioration of electricity services. Residents reported that the electricity system was completely out of service on the first day of Eid al-Adha. They confirmed that this outage is the third in less than 10 days, especially on the district of Dar Saad. Citizens in the Houthi-controlled areas suffer deterioration in living conditions, especially with the advent of Eid al-Adha. Even those who with bank deposits are not allowed by the militia to withdraw money to meet families' needs during holiday. This is the 9th Eid in a row since the Houthi coup in 2014, and citizens have lost the sense of joy of this great religious occasion. The oil and gas sector in Yemen continues to face a precarious future as peace talks intensify. The following report has more details.
Yemeni oil and gas production has slowed to a trickle in a recent month after the Houthis attacked oil export terminals to cut off the Saudi-backed government's vital revenue source despite renewed hopes for a peaceful solution to the country's 8-year war. Yemen has never been a major producer compared to nearby Saudi Arabia and the UAE, but the Middle Eastern country, which sits on key international shipping lanes, has 3 billion barrels of crude. According to the U.S. Energy Information Agency, oil production has collapsed since then as a result of maturing fields, underinvestment, and the war, which pitted a Saudi and UAE-backed coalition against the Houthis and has left hundreds of thousands dead. Today, the country is producing between 7,000 of oil, all of it refined today. Low production and a lack of exports have hit Yemen's finances, since oil contributed 63% of government revenues before the war, according to the IMF. Most of Yemen's crude is produced by state-owned firms Yemen General Corporation for oil, while a clutch of foreign firms, including Austria's, have stuck around. As recently as 2014, Yemen was producing 125,000 of crude from Marib and Shabwa, but export came to a dwindling halt once the fighting started in 2015, as did the Yemen. In 2017, the government resumed oil production, but exports were patchy. However, after a truce expired in October, the Houthis, who have repeatedly tried without success to capture Marib oil fields, struck the Bir Ali and Al-Shihr loading terminals on the Gulf of Aden, reducing exports to zero. The warring sides have been at an impasse ever since, with the Houthis demanding the lion's share of future oil revenues to pay public sector and military salaries. The group has also warned foreign oil companies against signing deals with the internationally recognized government and is selling imported refined products to further squeeze government revenues.
Here is a reminder of the main headlines. Houthi drone attack on the joint forces sites in Adala kills 4 soldiers. War and blockade cast shadow on Eid Joy in Tai's Garden Raid. Displaced families in Ma'rib received Eid amid dire humanitarian situation. This is the end of the news. It was Roshan Faed. Thank you for watching.